Hello, fine listeners, and welcome to Shannon's Lumber Industry Update. I am Shannon, and if that theme song sounded familiar to you, then you were probably a fan of Wood Talk. That's right, everyone. What used to be a segment is now its very own show. Little history, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Wood Talk was a woodworking podcast. After more than 10 years, we finally hung it up, but I started to get email after email saying, I love the Lumber Industry Update. Please make it its own spinoff show. It got to be the point where I was speaking at a local guild and like 10 people came up to me. One of them had a woodworking question and 9 of them were telling me that they wanted to know more about the lumber industry. They wanted me to bring the Lumber Industry Update back into its own podcast. So this is just a quick moment to say thank you to everybody who reached out to me. Thank you to everyone who expressed such an interest in what was really an accident. There was never really a concerted thought to say, let's do a segment just about the lumber industry. I am the director of marketing for probably the oldest lumber company in the United States. J. Gibson McIlvaine was founded in 1740. We are a lumber importer, millwork house. We work with architects, contractors, homeowners, everybody to provide lumber, to provide millwork. And over the last 10 years, I've learned a great deal about the lumber industry. But at the same time, I'm a woodworker. I have a shop in my house. I build furniture. I actually run an online woodworking school called the Hand Tool School that specializes in hand tools and techniques. So not only am I living and working in the lumber industry every single day and getting kind of that insider's perspective, I am also a customer of the lumber industry. So there was a lot of information that kind of got locked up in my head, and I figured, you know what, I'll throw something out there and do an industry update. And it was such an amazing success that here we are today. So what can you expect from this podcast? Well, here's the thing. Like I mentioned before, because I'm in the lumber industry all day long, all week long, a lot of the things that may kind of seem routine or maybe obvious to me are not to everyone else. So sometimes I can have a blind spot for some things that you guys might find fascinating. I can remember many a time when I did an update on Wood Talk and I got lots of feedback saying that was really cool. I didn't know that. And it was really kind of a shock. So here is my mission to you guys. Let me know what you want to know about the lumber industry, about lumber in general, buying lumber, sourcing lumber, anything and everything about the material that we woodworkers and makers deal with every single day. That is really the mission of this podcast. As a lumber industry insider, that sounds so official. As an insider, I really want to dispel any myths or misconceptions about buying lumber, about the lumber industry, and try to educate as much as possible. I hear from so many woodworkers who have just awful experiences when they go to the lumber yard because they didn't know what to expect or didn't know what to look for. I also hear a lot of people who are very concerned about sustainability issues and sourcing issues. Let's get to the bottom of these things and let's spend some time talking about regulations. Let's talk about specific species. What makes one species work better than another? These are all the things that I can't wait to share with you guys. But in the end, the show will be driven by you, the audience. So here's what I need you to do. If you go to lumberupdate.com, that's the website where this whole thing lives. You'll find a contact form there where you can submit questions about anything related to lumber. Or, in good old Wood Talk fashion, if you want to send me a voicemail, pull out your smartphone, pull up your voice memo, and record a message. And when you're done, email that to lumberupdate@gmail.com. I look forward to hearing your questions, and I look forward to talking about lumber.